Okay. I was waiting for a truck to roll by. Okay, it's quiet. Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name's Ryan. This is the Watcher's Alchemy. And today's video, well, let's just put it this way. If you clicked on this video, that means the universe, spirit, or God wants you to get ready for the Lionsgate portal. It doesn't matter what year you find this or how old this video is. The Lionsgate portal is a universal energetic portal that allows us to expand our self, our dynamics, and our consciousness, our awareness to level up in embodying our own ascension, wherever that resonates with you. So it is no coincidence you clicked on this video because we are getting ready for the Lionsgate portal. Now, since there's all kinds of different people out there, I'm going to try to be a little vague about this. It's usually my expertise, just being vague and confusing. But the Lionsgate portal can mean a lot of different things for all of us. Some of us have already gone through a spiritual awakening. Some of us are already ascending in our awareness. Some of us are already understanding our purpose. But then some of us are just discovering what these energetic portals are, what they mean to us, and we're stepping into the kiddie pool of spiritual awakening. So there can be a lot of different experiences. So the Lionsgate portal. Now, if you are a Leo, if you are Leo energy, or if Leo is strong in your chart, if you have a lot of planets in the sign of Leo, you're probably going to feel this. This is going to be a core resonation. This is going to be a resonation of both your first dynamic and your fifth dynamic, and your seventh dynamic, opening up opportunities. Now this resonates from your core. So this has to do with ego. This has to do with status. This has to do with letting go of things attached to self. This has to do with gaining a higher perspective involving self and opening up gates of opportunities for the physical world to manifest what's in your resonance field, what's in your field of valence, the echoing field that follows your life path, that manifests different things, both in your physical world and your interior world, and they reflect each other. So more opportunities, your seventh dynamic, open up. And so we want to get a feel for that. So the lines, any portal, we want to start exercising our dynamics to build higher dimensional awareness, higher dimensional perception, more and more throughout your life. And this is going to help later on in life to prevent your cognitive functions from declining. So you'll be able to expand more and more throughout your life if you're aware of these energetic portals, and we exercise our energetic birthrights and our spiritual expansion around these portals, and we plan for them. So during the month of August, using our quantum awareness is the general time, but you might want to look up the specific times and other resources that talk about the Lionsgate portal. We're just talking about from the inside out, getting ready for this energetic portal that happens around August. So if we were to slip and slide down to that core and expand up, what we'd want to do is meditate on get our physical body ready, prepared. And that's pretty easy. We just meditate. We go through our locational scans where we sit there and we breathe and we feel every part of our body. If there's anything that is tense, anything that needs to be worked out, you feel it out through those meditative exercise. You can do your regular stretching, your calisthenics, your regular workout routines. Getting yourself, your body, your first dynamic prepared for expansion, prepared for receiving information. Those meditative exercises will help to allow more information to come in through your third eye. So so that I never really stop at the second dynamic, because in doing this internal exercise we are getting rid of all those extra negative energies, is where all that negativity builds up in our aura, in that second dynamic, that bubble that seems like, you can't seem to get rid of those ghosts and those shadows. We are expanding from the inside out. We are bringing that light, and we are pushing all that out, and we are never minding it, and we're putting it aside for a later date, because we are trying to expand beyond that. Now, those details that stick out the most to us archetypally in our mind, now that's fourth dimensional. So that reflects things that are going to eventually manifest into physical reality, if you can resonate with this. So if there is if you have too many things running through your mind, you need to bring yourself down. You need to definitely um, focus on one thing at a time. But usually the universe, if we are feeling psychologically tense, let's just say, the universe will have about two or three things kind of mulling around in the mind that we can't seem to get rid of. Those things usually revolve around finances and security, relationships, and health. So those general those general things tend to stick in our mind the most, especially if they're introducing um, quantifiable amounts of stress or even pain, and emotional trauma, what have you. Those are probably going to be the things that we want to expand on. If we really can't get out of those valences, if we really can't get beyond those, set those aside, then those are probably going to be the things we're working on. But if you're kind of working from, see, this can work two ways, like I mentioned in the beginning. You can be a very fulfilled person right now and feel that you need to expand, or you can be very down and out and just about ready to exito from this life experience, and that is also a valuable point in your experience to have too, because the Lionsgate portal can be the apex pivotal point that turns it all around, which is how I experienced my little bit of spiritual awakening around the Lionsgate portal a few years back, is when my heart chakra opened up, and that's when. Okay, so this is where it gets into your this is where it starts to get into your fifth house, I believe. Now we're talking about a higher dimensional perspective. So we're not talking about just specific archetypal astrology. We're talking about the number five in a way you probably never experienced it before. Now, this is where the universal audience of your spiritual life becomes apparent. And so, if you are a higher dimensional being, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, you will realize that we have an audience around us at every given point. It doesn't have to be a physical person in the room. You have a universal audience, and you are the focal point of all this attention. Okay, this is one of the key points of the Lionsgate portal that opens up a higher dimensional um, gnosis to the metaphysical world around you that you cannot see with your eyes, because all of a sudden because it could be a very spooky experience that echoes after your heart awakening, or maybe even your maybe depending on your astrology, it could be your third eye opening up around the Lionsgate portal. Different parts of you respond. Different parts of your experience will respond with these different portals, and the Lionsgate portal is a portal of self. It's a portal of stableness and security, and a portal of a universal audience, in my opinion. So you can be opened up to this spiritual audience that is universal and can manifest itself in your psyche in different ways, and you can feel like you are going down a very steep, slippery slide, like I mentioned, but that slide ultimately leads to your core. okay, to what is resonating out and reflecting from your core. And so to point this out is to eliminate what is illusion, okay, or excuse me, what is delusion, I should say. What is false reality, false light, what is not, what is out of your spectrum from what your resonance is trying to show you. And when I say core, I'm talking about things that your ego is trying to come up with. It's clever ideas and things for you to attach to that creates disorganized attachment. Hopefully I'm making sense. Let me know down in the comments if that is, and hit me a thumbs up. Okay, so hopefully we can get kind of a comprehension of how this portal is opening up this energetic audience and this way of clearing out everything that is not you, to be able to slide down, have fun doing so, into that core value, into your first dynamic, and realizing, oh, okay, I have to do this every single time, okay, to bring out the blooming, blossoming, good parts of that dynamic. And I'm speaking in a vague way so that it doesn't interrupt with your more specific spiritual beliefs. You know, you can have any kind of religion, any kind of belief, and it should resonate with the sort of vague philosophy. These dynamics never really change in no matter what the human experience has to offer for you. So we understand that the Lion Gate's portal, the Lion's Gate portal is a portal of the self dynamic lifting us up to unveil that we have an energetic audience that is in correspondence with us. And when we stand in a room, or if we stand any place or walk down the street, we should be able to feel the consistency of this audience. No matter which direction we're facing, we will find the relative correspondence, you know, to our core, to what the universe is trying to show us, is reflecting off our core in those specific directions. And so that is where it starts to become more relevant, that it's an audience. Okay, now without understanding that, it can become very spooky when things start to move, you know, in relative synchronicity from with your awareness, and resonates with a more like a freaky fear response, a reactive response. And this creates the idea of that we're seeing ghosts, that we're seeing shadows, or that we're getting like a general spooky vibe. It can just depend on you know, what level of awareness the universe is trying to get you up and out of. So that's how we know that these I guess working backwards energetically and psychologically, this is how we know what the universe is trying to show us, is when our emotions respond with the physical world. And so that you have to understand that there is an archetypal energy behind that. So that archetypal energy, the way that you work your fourth dynamic from your core reflecting out is through trust and faith. Trust or faith. It can be either or. If you don't have a religion and you don't believe in faith, trust is the feeling, the emotion, or at least the proactive analytical response to fear, or your, you know, whatever the physical reality or the archetypal world is trying to construct to engage with your emotions, with your second dynamic. It's reflecting off your core. And so trust and faith gets you beyond that barrier, and that is what exercises your quantum mind fifth and sixth dimensionally, to get you up and out of that archetypal fear response. And so this becomes like reflex. And so this audience element of the Lion's Gate portal is like one solid, like month long or however long it really is, energetic portal where your audience obviously sits in front of you from your perspective, and starts engaging with you and giving you these different responses that you can open up to and exercise those core values. And when we do that, we use the archetypal world. See, if we're shut off from the archetypal world, if we don't exercise if we don't exercise our meditation, bring ourselves down and ground ourselves, our ADHD is going to go rampant, and it's going to not help us focus in on the more boring learning lessons that get us to understand what archetypes are. Like, take the sun, for example. The sun is one of the most prominent archetypes, and it's going to be prominent in the Lionsgate portal, because right now the Lionsgate portal is when the sun is pretty much at its brightest during the summer, right? Um, and so all the archetypes of the sun, all the different little pieces that we put together that represent the self, represent the sun, represent the ego, represent the orange fruit, the citrus element, the brightness, the heat, and the passion, and the childlike nature, innocent nature of the value of the sun. All the different archetypes that you can pull out are relevant in your personal story, uh, your personal story about to be expanded in your awareness around this Lionsgate portal time. So so your so exercising your fifth dimensional value is kind of akin to that trust, because now you have to give all these core values templates, energetic templates. This is 5 and 6 we're talking about in your dynamics. So 5 is the bridging, or the quantifiable information that gets you from one point to another. 6 is the actual duplicated options that are going to resonate into your physical world. Okay, what's actually going to expand, and you can interpret that into your core values too. All the different options that the universe, all those things that the universe will not let you forget in this time. Those are going to have a probability factor attached to them to manifest themselves in some sort of correspondence in your physical reality. Now we're talking about your audience coming to life and showing you these things. Okay? So the way to exercise your 5 and your 6 is to start giving those things that you cannot forget templates, energetic templates, to focus them into. So you start gaining more control and corresponding with your energetic audience. Pretend like they're sitting there right in front of you, every step of the way, everywhere you walk, everywhere you go, everywhere you turn, they're there. And they're kind of waiting, like being like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Let's create something in their physical reality for them to respond to. And so by standing there and basically, in one way or another, exercising that ability to say, oh, I saw that coming, universe. Okay, I had that template in my mind ready to go. And so this is what I am manifesting. This is what I'm willing to accept. Okay, now if it's something that comes into your valence and you're like, no, I am not willing to accept that. I am not responding out of fear. I am not responding out of hesitation. I am not responding out of some cuckoo neurosis attachment. I rebuke you, or I accept you. One or the other. It's no, universe, I don't accept that. I see what you're doing. I see you're building up you're building up these options for me to accept, an energetic path or psychological path for me to go down. And I am going to respond with clarity. I'm going to respond with silence and stillness. That's a perfect tool to use to show the universe that you're aware, and that you don't react. You don't react out of fear, hesitation, these negative emotions that the universe wants you to respond to. And this could be as simple as a conversation you're going to have with a loved one that makes you react certain way. Oh, and I keep catching myself, and I keep doing it. Oh, okay, I see, universe. So this is what you're trying to clear up for me in my first dynamic, my fifth dynamic. You are my audience. Thank you very much, universe. Okay, I want to open up more opportunities. And so if there is things to work out with your karma, in your seventh dynamic, you will have to be willing to let yourself open up to those things and leave it open in your mind, being like, okay, well, if I respond in this way, like let's just say that you you have a narcissist in your life and you usually, give this narcissist a little something. You interact with them in some way, but it always gives them something. And man, they got you again in that way, if you know what I'm talking about. They got you again. Now all of a sudden you're the victim and makes you feel that emotional value. Now, to open up to the universe and to say to the universe, okay, I am going to respond to this person. I'm going to give them something, or I'm going to respond in a way where I don't give them something. I'm going to respond in a different way. Pick an option. You openly allowed yourself to do that, and if it didn't work, if it was an illusion, didn't create the opportunity, the energetic window to get beyond where that narcissist energy has let you get beyond before, if you don't feel, a resolve, that is your seventh dynamic. You allowed yourself to do that. Thank you. Have faith. Faith comes into this, and then you're stepping into the eye of God now. You are allowing yourself to be humble. Your audience all of a sudden becomes bigger, becomes more energetic and higher in dimensional, let's say, correspondence. So when you work out that karma every time with your seventh dynamic. Eventually you start getting right on the nail every time for the expansion. You're still allowing yourself to be humble. You still allow yourself to have faith. And so this is why people are very adamant about believing in God, believing in the equivalent of God in any religion that you have out there in the human experience. And then when in the Western world, when we talk about Christianity, we're talking about Jesus, okay, the Savior element, which is with you all the way up when you're ascending in that consciousness. So that element starts to become more prevalent between dynamics 5 and 8, obviously. 8 is the dynamic of God, or the God mind. So we are allowing ourselves to be open to the opportunities and the karmas, and we're becoming more aware of these repetitive cycles that the universe is trying to get us to go through. And through the Lionsgate portal is when the audience becomes more energetically expansive, and we can be more energetically expansive. Okay, now when we first start out, like in the spiritual awakening, it becomes more about those senses and those feelings, like, oh my God, my heart chakra opened up, and this is like the apex of my spiritual experience, and I am completely awakened, and my energy went everywhere. That is actually just the beginning. This is a sensation feeling. It's just part of your dynamics. So we want to ground ourselves and understand that every year around every portal, we have a different dynamic we can correspond with or expand from. You understand what I'm talking about. And so depending on our astrology, if we want to go down that route of finding out what archetypes are going to expand, we can reflect those with what we actually experience in our physical world. And in that Fibonacci sequence of events that always brings around that same narcissist, that same energy, that same emotion, that same time that we cry around our birthdays every year, or whatever, just examples, or that same face that we see in the crowd, that face that resonates with us, that person that we keep seeing. Who is this person? Should I attach to who this person is? Is this going to be part of my soul family? Is this my person? This face that I've seen throughout my entire life. Fibonacci sequence of events keeps bringing this face in, and I know the universe wants to show me who this person is. Now, what you want to do with that information is up to you in your ascension. I'm just trying to spell out how we get ready for the Lionsgate in expanding those dynamics. So that person, that face that you keep seeing, that Fibonacci sequence of events, not to say that it's going to land on the Lionsgate portal. It could, and if it does, let me know down in the comments if you've experienced that around the Lionsgate portal. I mean, I have stories too, but we're expanding from the core out so we can clarify what that is, so that when it does come around, we can receive it. Okay, so it doesn't have to necessarily be on the Lionsgate portal, but we use this portal energy to expand. So So we understand now how faith and humility and falling victim to those karmic energies and those Fibonacci sequence of events can lead us to clarifying what's in our resonance field, what's in physical reality, and the repetitive nature, and how it can be constantly observed. And this expands time. This expands time so that basically time starts slowing down. It's like, man, can't we get through this? But all the information is interpreted as time speeding up, because now all of a sudden you realize, well, like in my case, after all these years, I realize I don't age. That's what this does to you. This quantum mind. So we're past that. We're past quantum mind. We're past faith. We're past the God dynamic, the faith dynamic, in whatever your choosing is. And so now we get into creation. It is stabilization, it is completion and creation. Now we know what to do with this audience. Now we know how to correspond with this audience, and how this audience is actually perceiving us, and how in our quantum element and in their quantum element, our audience, how it corresponds to create whatever reality we want to create. And so we exercise that by being satisfied in the things that we do, the content we put out, the shuffling of the tarot cards, the reading of the book, the drawing, the expressing to people how you love them, communing with nature, just being satisfied with the human experience. Okay. And now don't forget correspondence, because correspondence is very important with the physical world. So when we exercise our 10th and 11th dynamics, we must be in the physical corresponding world, and we must start treating everybody like they are our audience and like they are our angels. You see how this works out? Because only then and there will our opportunities be able to open up in our career and our relationships and our self-expansion. We can go the route of isolating ourselves on a mountain or from everybody else in the world, but ultimately our audience needs to include the physical world. So you can go ahead and set up your teddy bears on your, the edge of your bed all you want, and give them all names, but really, if you want to expand your reality, you'll need to believe in that and the other, the physical world, the actual corresponding world. And you need to open up and step by step raise your awareness in your own, from your core up, in your dynamics, and get more ease and satisfaction with the world and in yourself. Meditation, silence, stillness. So, and in your 11th dynamic, the perfect video to shoot in an 11th dynamic, would be if I was to walk around in the physical world and show you how I correspond with my world, and how nothing is a coincidence, and how everything that comes out of my mouth or that reflects from my channeling, not necessarily just my brain activity, but my channeling, is also going on in my physical reality and corresponds with the psyches of the people around me. Okay. Now, I'm not really there yet. Maybe when I get to 1,000 or more subscribers, I'll change the dynamic of this and start including videos like that, and maybe putting on like a GoPro or something like that. But I'm not there yet. I just want to explain how this can come about, and you can go and let me know if you resonate and relate with this in any way personalized to yourself. So that's going through the dynamics and getting yourself ready for the Lionsgate portal. Okay. And the portal, when you have exercised and you've mastered all these dynamics, the portal is a perfect area to be out there in the world, and as you're corresponding with this grand audience of the universe, all of a sudden in every single reality, it starts to brew, special formulas for you that will confirm itself in physical reality. And usually that's expansion into opportunities, money, relationships, happiness, and the experience of completion in one's own journey. All right, my name's Ryan. With that train going in the background, confirming the successful video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think in your opinion. Any questions, if you want me to talk on a subject, I will be happy to make you a personal video giving my opinion on that subject. And until then, this has been the Watcher's Alchemy, signing out.